What is up, you guys? Thank you so much for tuning in with me today. So today I'm getting ready to tackle harvesting some sweet potatoes. Earlier this year, probably in the late spring or mid to late spring, I planted sweet potatoes, and I planted, I think, a 36-foot row, and there may have been 18 plants. I don't remember. I think I'm leaning towards, I think I planted 18 plants in a 36-foot row. They are ready to be harvested, and I'm just now getting to it. And the reason I'm just now getting to it is because the weather is going to cool down a lot this week. So this week we could expect a possible freeze, and it's gonna get chilly tonight, and then it's gonna be cold tomorrow and the rest of this week. But with that said, the potatoes, the sweet potatoes, need to come out of the ground. I'm going to take you all along with me as we get those pulled. A good reason I wear shoes today. Ooh, he's hissing. He doesn't look like anything dangerous. I think it's just a... Ooh. He's just, I know what type of snake that is. I just can't remember, but it's basically a garden snake. So, I'll go put him in the woods. But man, he's upset. I almost did this barefoot today. So fun fact, if you did not know, it is illegal in the state of Georgia to kill non-venomous snakes. Who knew, am I right? So you can take that one to the bank. That's a little freebie for you there. So you gotta chuck those suckers out into the woods and set them free. Look at this sweet potato, it's massive, it's so big. So here are all the potatoes. There's a lot of splits in them. And that's from too much moisture, which I couldn't control because I didn't end up watering them a whole lot. But yeah, I can't really do anything about that. So some of these are probably too split. Like that's bad right there. That's unusable. But there's a lot of usable parts in here. And I have just like a little bit left here. I have these ones here at the end, but I have these like little plants in here, and that's where the snake was right there. So I gotta dig this up because I think there's some potatoes lurking in there, but yeah, we are definitely getting close to being done. And as soon as I'm done, I'm going to let the chickens out to walk around a little bit. We found ourselves a little black widow spider. Look at her. She's so cute. Precious. Deadly. So that was a bullnose snake, by the way. But she's just like living in the potatoes, just like having a great life. Where's your husband? That's what I thought. I'm pretty sure that law about snakes doesn't apply to spiders. So these are all of our potatoes. Some look better than others. And we're basically going to spread them out on this table for the time being until we get them, until we decide, until we preserve them, really. So they'll just kind of sit out here. And you can cure potatoes by just leaving them in a place with good airflow circulation spread out in a single layer. And then like in like 2 weeks, you're good to go. You can put them in for storage in a cool, dry, dark place. And so for the time being, these are going to go just on the table, spread out. Also, the chickens are out having some outdoor time, enjoying gallivanting about outside, so... just because I can. I forget I can. So it has been a couple of days since we have harvested our sweet potatoes, and it was 80 degrees when I did that, and now it is a lovely 53 outside. So a cold front has come in, and we are expecting a freeze tonight. It's going to be down to about 29 degrees. And so the sweet potatoes cannot stay out here in the shed. So they need to come in the house. So I've only found 2 of our boxes, but we had like 6 of them. But we have these peach boxes. I found 2 of them. We'll see how far I can get with 2 boxes. But they got like nice holes in them, so there's good airflow. So if these potatoes sit piled for a couple of days, it won't be a big deal because there's good airflow in these boxes. But I'm just gonna take some of our smaller potatoes that are like this size, and I'll put them in the box. And then these ones, I don't know what I'll do with these. These are so big. So I don't know. I don't know what where those will end up, but they will end up probably in a crate in the house. Actually, there's this crate here with an extension cord. I probably could use this crate. That probably would work. So this milk crate would work pretty good. So I might use that for the larger potatoes. But that will get them inside out of the freezing weather. And then after that, I'm going to try and pick all of our marigolds so I can lay them out in a single layer and see if I can get those to dry. So our chickens have some marigolds throughout the winter, and everything is like really, the marigolds have a lot of blooms on them, so there should be a sufficient amount. And then essentially what I'll do is I'll just like mix that into their food throughout the winter so they can kind of like nibble on it. And then I'm also going to try and get out there and harvest the last of our zinnias. So there are some beautiful pink flowers still out there, and I want to go ahead and snag those up and bring those indoors. And then I also do want to try and get the marigold seed, because I didn't save any marigold seed yet this year, and I want to do that. I'm cutting it a little close. I need to pick all of our hot peppers that are left, and I also, there's some green beans. There are some green beans out there. I need to check and see what the deal is with those. And then I have some odds and end plants that need to be brought in out of the cold. So I have various tasks to tackle, so let's get into it. These sweet potatoes are just kind of the most wild thing. I've never grown ones this big before. Like, this is huge. They're definitely, like I said earlier, there are some potatoes that like look rough. Like that looks like it's mostly bad. You can see all those spots in it. So that would probably end up going into the compost. That's soft there. So as I go, I'll kind of sort through a little bit. Like that one has a big old, well, that might just be dirt. That's actually just dirt. Okay, that potato's fine. There's just dirt on all over it. Well, that side's pretty gnarly. Would you look at that? Well, I do know, but these are so big. I've never grown anything this massive before, so it's pretty crazy how big some of these are. So we'll probably end up freezing and canning some of these. I don't know which will come first, but we'll just end up having to do that because there's not really a good place for us to store these in the house, and last time we tried to store them it didn't work. So we're just gonna go ahead, break down and process them by either freezing them or canning them. So we shall see, but I'll get these boxed up. All right, so I got most of the small potatoes kind of isolated into this box, and then I got all the massive potatoes. I had to go get another crate. I had to go get this crate so there was enough so I could carry them. But these will just sit in the house for the time being until we warm up again, because it's gonna get back up into the 70s. I did have, these were the ones I just automatically am going to just go throw into the compost bin because I couldn't see very good last night, so I couldn't really see what was bad, and these just look bad through and through. So I'm gonna get rid of these ones, but some of these have spots on them and what have you, but I will go ahead and hold on to them because if we're gonna be cutting them up and freezing them or canning them, then you can just cut out the bad spots when, if it's just a little tiny bit at the base and the rest of the potato is good, keep the rest of the potato. So I'm not worried about these splits and things. Now, if we were doing like permanent storage for these, like we were gonna do dry storage with potatoes, then I probably would try and eat these ones right away. But like I said, we're just gonna go ahead and process them. So I'll get these in the house, and then I will go work on probably picking the marigolds. So I have a ton of this marigold picking to do because there's a lot of it, and I want a lot of it, as much as I can possibly save. So I have a box here, and I'm just saving up all of the lovely marigolds. So I'm saving these for the chickens because they really adore them, and I'm going to dry them so they have dried marigolds throughout the winter months, because they're going to lose that. They really loved this treat. It was one of their favorite treats, and so we're going to see if they like dried marigolds as a treat, and if they don't, then I will just mix it into their food. So that is what I'm doing right now. I am collecting up all these marigolds, and I just gave the chickens some scratch grains, which has cracked corn, sunflower seeds. It has, what's the other thing, like sorghum, or I think theirs has mullet in it. I can't remember. But there's various different types of grains in there, and it's supposed to keep them warm. So the idea behind it is that you give your chickens corn during the winter because their body uses more energy to break up that corn, to digest that corn, and if you give it to them before bed, then their digestive system is still moving, and it keeps them warmer at night. And so with this cold snap being as cold as it's going to be, I want to make sure they are as warm as possible. So that is why we got the scratch grains. We actually went out and got that today. And we're actually gone a really long time today. We were out a lot, like a long time. Like, I think we were out like, I don't know. It just seemed like a whole day kind of disappeared on me, to be honest. So that's what's up with the chickens. So they are out there eating some scratch grains. I just kind of put it in a line out there for them so I could kind of watch them. And we've been letting our chickens outside. We've been letting them out about 30 minutes before bed. So it's probably it's probably around 6:40 now, but so they've been out here for like 10 minutes. And the sun has been setting around 7:30. So they get about an hour, or no, maybe like 30 minutes, about 30 minutes, sometimes more than 30 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes of outdoor time. And the reason we're doing that is because the chickens will put themselves to bed. So I tried taking them out during the day into the garden and stuff, just to like try and, take the chickens out, fun, right? No, they were a nightmare to put away. And so by just letting them kind of hang out in the area around their coop, we did put up some pallets as barriers to kind of keep them a little bit more contained so they don't just roam everywhere. But it allows them to, number one, get grass and get their feet clean so they can scratch around in the grass. And it does help give your chickens cleaner feet when they have some outdoor time like that. And it also, they'll put themselves to bed, so I don't have to wrangle the chickens up. So they do put themselves to bed. It's really interesting. It's just like all of a sudden they just start going to bed, and then before you know it, like they're all in bed, and it's really great not to have to wrangle chickens. So that's why we've been doing that. And they have been really happy with that. That has been a super, super good thing. They've been very happy and enjoying themselves. And I think they really like the scratch grain. So that's good. All right, these are not marigolds behind me. Do not be deceived. These are all of the cosmos behind me, which I will dearly miss. I didn't pick any cosmos to take into the house. I just picked some zinnias, and I didn't film that because I was kind of sporadic. I was running all over the yard because I could feel the darkness settling in. Oh, there's a sleeping bumblebee right there. Gotta watch out for those. But yeah, so I was pleasantly surprised to come across I was very pleasantly surprised to come across the tomatoes that I found out here. And I went ahead and grabbed them because even if they're green tomatoes, they can sit on the counter and ripen. And even if they don't, you know, you can make fried green tomatoes, green salsa, something like that. And so I went ahead and grabbed them because, you know, waste not, want not. And then I was really happy with the green beans. I didn't think we had a whole lot of green beans, but I was pleasantly surprised with the green beans. And when I planted those, I wasn't sure what would happen. I just threw them in the ground to see what would happen, and I was just like, you know, I don't have anything in this space. This space is empty, and I really want to put something here, so I'll just put a bunch of green beans and see what happens. And while no, there wasn't like, obviously, there was not enough green beans to, you know, last us a year or feed an army. There was plenty of green beans to make up several cans, 4 cans of green beans, and, you know, maybe a couple bags of freezer beans or something. So the seeds definitely paid for themselves, is what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is that the seeds paid for themselves, and I didn't really know what was going to happen when I planted them, but I went ahead and I planted them. And I think sometimes with gardening, one of the frustrating things is a lot of people go into it thinking the mindset of saving money, which that is one of the many reasons that we do what we do, because it is cheaper to grow your own stuff in most cases. Not always, but in, you know, in the case of, you know, green beans, it's usually cheaper to grow them yourself and grow loads of them and then buy them at the store. And so something about it though is that even when you spend maybe $4 on seeds, and you plant $4 worth of seeds, and you don't pull in any harvest, and you feel like it's a failure, it's not a failure, because what you've gained from it is knowledge. You haven't failed, you just haven't, you now know what doesn't work, whether that be a fertilizer that you're trying to use, or the shape of your soil is in. It told you something and you learned something. And so that's very valuable. And you may view it as, oh man, I just wasted $4 on these stupid bean seeds, but you didn't waste $4. You gained $4 worth of knowledge, and that was priceless, honestly. I mean, for only $4, you got some priceless information, which was you learned something from growing those beans. Aren't those eggs just so beautiful? It's so funny because these are both green eggers right here, but like this one looks blue and this one looks very green. I just love it so much. They're so pretty. All right, so I did end up running out of light last night, but I managed to get quite a few marigolds picked for the ladies. My mom ended up coming out and helping me, so I was able to get a lot more than I thought I was going to be able to, so there's plenty for the chickens to last throughout the winter months. It did freeze last night. It got down to 28 degrees, so we did end up losing all of our marigolds. Well, I mean, that plant back there. Oh no, those are dead. Okay, well, I don't know. I saw orange in the corner of the screen and I was like, and I'm like, no, they're dead. Okay, that was kind of sad. It's slightly disappointing. Anyways, so it actually won't stay chilly forever. In fact, next week it's supposed to jump back up into the 80s. So this was definitely a cold snap, that is for sure. So thank you all so much for tuning in with me today. I really, really do appreciate each and every single one of you for being here. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you all later. Bye-bye.